as we get news that Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback, set to jump to the National Football League. Pete Thamel, among those reporting that. I think I saw Pete's report first. So we'll go with that. I don't think it's a huge surprise that Ty Simpson is making his move to the National Football League. We talked about it on the channel here in recent days in terms of how this draft looks like it's going to set up for the quarterback position. I mean, once you get past Dante Moore and or Fernando Mendoza and those top 3 or 4 picks, you're still going to have 27, 28, 29 picks in the first round where there's going to be multiple teams that would love to take a quarterback. And that's where it's going to be on Ty Simpson to prove that he is a first-round caliber. He's going to have to show that he's more along the lines of the guy that teams saw in the first half of the season, not so much in the second half of the season. Obviously, injuries played a part in that. I think, look, I'm not saying that his representation went out of its way to get it out there, but if they're doing their job, I think you would get out there that he played through the injuries he played through down the stretch, between his back, between his elbow, between some reactions to the pain medication that he took to try to stay on the field for the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can shift that narrative of that second half performance to Ty Simpson to, look, this guy will put it on the line for his team. He's not afraid to play through injuries, which, as we know in the National Football League, that's a valuable attribute. Now, in terms of Alabama, I don't think this is the worst case scenario by any means. And not because I don't think Ty Simpson wasn't going to be the starting quarterback for Alabama in 2026. I believe strongly that still would have been the case, where you would have had movement in that scenario, likely behind him with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell as the top 2 guys. Now that he is moving to the National Football League, you don't have to play against the guy. I think that was the worst case scenario for Alabama in all of this. Ty Simpson instead says, you know what? I'm going to hit the portal and make $4 or $5 million in college football next season. I do think Ty, based on everything we ever heard from him during his extended stay with the Crimson Tide, very much an Alabama guy. I know it's a rare trait in today's college football. Just look at the events of the last 12 hours where Washington and perhaps Lane Kiffin and LSU are concerned for more on that. So it's not the worst case scenario by any means, and especially considering that you've got a couple of promising candidates now that you would think Austin Mack and Keelan Russell both hang around to take their shot at the coveted starting position as the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Going to be an interesting few days still with the transfer portal and some of these decisions that are being made. You kind of thought that with Ty, this would be sooner rather than later because it does tie into the transfer portal, that decision and how it could have impacted things, and still might. Who knows from that standpoint. But Caleb Woodson, you get some good news from him here in the last day or so. Caden Strayhorn at the center position. Woodson as an inside linebacker. You know what Alabama's losing there at those spots. You hope that he can even green dot. He can be even a signal caller for you. This is a guy that was a captain at Virginia Tech, a veteran player, 1 year of eligibility, documented production, had some injury issues in 2025, had an off-the-field issue going into the season, but by all accounts, a legit football guy. Kind of plays into that tweet from Clinton Dix, right, yesterday, when talked about really, who is Alabama losing from a production standpoint that really puts the Crimson Tide in a bind. And again, Ty Simpson would qualify for that now, leaving with eligibility remaining. But he's not leaving to go play for Tennessee or someone else. So, you wish him the best of luck. I see Cece here in the show chat is doing that right now. Good luck to him. Onwards and upwards. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of clamoring for Keelan Russell. We'll see what Austin Mack has to say about that. The offensive line with Strayhorn coming in, you still got to address that situation pretty significantly at this point. Defensive line, Kelby Collins, the latest DL to hit the portal. Kylan's now going to his third stop in a couple of years. Florida, Alabama, next stop. We'll see how that goes. James Smith hitting the portal on that defensive line. So lines of scrimmage, we like to talk about quarterback, and it's obviously a sort of seismic decision that we're hearing from Ty Simpson today. But the lines of scrimmage and the overall physicality of this football team need to be addressed first and foremost. So there you go. Some reaction on Ty Simpson making the jump to the National Football League. One season as a starter for the Crimson Tide. I'd say he did a pretty damn good job, all things considered. No run game, injuries that were probably predictable and coming, given the ladder issues. And I'm not talking about a 6-footer. I'm talking about the run game. So we'll see how it plays out for Ty Simpson, and we'll see how it plays out for the Alabama Crimson Tide. A couple quarterbacks coming in this class as well. But again, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, very interesting offseason for sure for Alabama behind center on the way. Hey, thanks again for checking in here live on a Wednesday, an impromptu edition of our programming here on Reier on YouTube. We're going to talk some NFL later this afternoon. We got No Sleep Teal coming up on the channel, and then tonight we're going to have Second Helping with Brent Beard, longtime college football analyst. We'll do that tonight, and that will be a lot of fun as well as we go around the Southeastern Conference. Look forward to tomorrow's semifinal matchup between the Ole Miss Rebels and those Miami Hurricanes out in Glendale. Hey, have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back on the channel real soon. So long, everybody.